In this video, we're going to talk about what Z depth means. We're going to discuss the problem and the solution. The problem we'll have if we don't understand Z depth is sprites becoming semi-transparent or invisible or generally misbehaving. And the solution is to look at the Z position of the sprites relative to the background. So what is Z depth? Well, Unity is always a 3D engine, even when switched to 2D. The Z position of sprites matters for rendering, even when you're in a 2D mode like we are with this game. And sprites further from the camera get rendered first, and then the sprites nearer to the camera get rendered after that. So let's just quickly look at Unity and just look at where I'm talking about with the Z depth. In a canvas element or with a standard element, you have the transform and you have a Z position here. Now, because we've been dealing with X and Y in 2D, you haven't been paying a lot of attention to the Z position. But if you were to click your 2D button off, then you would notice that actually everything is a 3D world. And the same goes for instance, your camera, which sits at -10 in Z. So what we need to start becoming aware of is this Z depth. A typical issue would be that my brick sprites become semi-transparent when the ball hits them, or my paddle changes color when the ball hits it. Now, these are issues you won't have come across yet in the course, but we've inserted this video for you because in our experience, these are things that students further down the course have trouble with, and I want to make sure you're prepared for it. So that you don't have any of these issues, we want to think about the camera being at -10, it's its standard Z distance, and the background is typically at Z equals 0, like that. Now, a badly placed sprite would be on the background at the background's depth. So when you come to put your background in the future lectures and come to put a sprite in, you're going to want to bring your sprite forward a little bit like that, to maybe -5, in between the camera and the background. Now, it won't appear any larger because we're using an orthographic camera and there's no perspective involved, but it does mean that the sprite will definitely render after the background and on top of the background. Another way to do exactly the same thing would be to leave the sprite where it is and just to move your background back. And this is my preferred method because there's going to be a lot more sprites than there are background images. There'll be a single background image. So just move your background back if you have these problems by adjusting its Z depth to a more positive number. And that's really all I wanted to say for this video. It's as simple as that. We just need to become aware of Z depth. So if you have any of these problems as we move forward, or you miss where I change the Z depth, or even if I don't change the Z depth, then go ahead and do it yourself. Experiment and make sure you understand how it works. So good luck, and I'll see you soon.